can it come from a Jewish tradition? You know how Jews preserve their tradition? They keep arguing about this oral Torah from Moses. They have the Midrash, they have the Tanakh, they have so many things. But if I go to them and say, okay, tell me about this tradition, is it true? They're going to tell me it's a child's story, because they still have the traditions within Judaism. But why is it? Because that's what I'm saying. Because at the time, there were so many legendary stories about Zulkarnain. That, like for example, in the Quran.
So my point is why they asked him these questions.
Why did they ask him?
Yeah, why?
For a week, yeah?
I have no idea. They could have
Because
asked
these
him.
existed amongst them.
All right. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'm saying it's part of their tradition, but it doesn't mean that it's a true story. Because now they look back, they know it's a false story. That's my point. So he's now confirmed the story.
It was maybe true for that generation.
Exactly. But then how can Allah confirm something that's not true?
No,
true. But it's not true.
that generation thought it's true and it was amongst them. But the later generation, because if the Prophet confirmed something,
Yes.
and in the Quran it clearly says that they know the Prophet as they know their own sons. So for later on, the ones who did not accept Islam, of course they're going to deny him that no, he answered wrong questions, or we just asked him these mythical stories.
But if we have the Bible, right, and that's why we have the Bible. Everyone goes by that. Then they have like other, like the Talmud and which has all these stories in. Now, what I'm saying to you is this: even when you look at the earliest tafsirs, right, for 450 years, the ijma was that it was literal. Now we can see, because I've got the evidence. After 350 years, the first person who mentioned it might not be literal is Tabarani. He said it's not. It doesn't make sense because the not based on the. Wait,
why
let me
we are
finish.
talking about hadith when we do not agree with the?
Wait. Let me explain.
I don't want to go there.
Let me explain.
I don't want to go into
hadith.
hadith.
It's not hadith. I'm saying Tabarani is the scholar. We're saying how your scholars interpreted it. So, because when you go to Tabari, and Ibn Taymiyyah said he only quotes the Sahaba and sound sources. Now, in his tafsir, he says that the people in Mecca only disagreed whether it was a muddy pool or a warm spring. It was only after 450 years, because what happened is there was a battle between the Muslims and the Greeks.
What do you mean by muddy pool?
Because it says in the Quran the sun set in a warm spring.
So
now the earliest Muslims disagreed whether because the word can be pronounced Hamia or Hamia.
If I arrive on the time of the sunset, near a pool, or near a river, or near a sea, what's happening? The sun is sitting.
Let me explain my point. Let me explain my point. Because my point is going to go against what you're saying. Wait. My point is this. For 450 years, the ijma was literal. What happened is in 1071 there was a war between the Muslims and the Greeks. Now the Greeks were highly educated in science, so they refuted converting to Islam based on one of those verses to say the sun does not set in the sea. And what you will see, and I can bring evidence.
What happens
when
you go to a seashore and when you sit at the sunset? What happens?
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying after 450 years, the Islamic consensus changed after this battle. So all the scholars, Ibn Abbas, Tabari, said the Sahaba believed it was literal. It's only because science refuted the Quran, they changed their opinion, and we have evidence of it. And I'm going to do a presentation on it, maybe. Or if I debate with someone, I'm going to bring it up.
What is this? It says the sunset.
Yes.
So when Quran says the sunset in a muddy water, if you reach at the time of the sunset, if you reach to a seashore or to let's say a big, when you reach at the sunset, what's happening at that time?
So it says he found people by the sunset. Where were the people?
No, when it says.
But it says there were people by the sunset. Yeah, so where were the people?
Maybe around the shore, in that city, in that area. Why?
Exactly.
And so you say scientifically. So literally, we try to need to understand something.
The
language when we use the sunset.
Yes.
what time you coming? Oh, sunset.
Okay.
It's something that we understand as a human being.
Okay.
It's not
At
that
the time they didn't. Okay, this is my question for you. No, but listen.
Accept
Okay,
logic.
listen to this question. Why?
The way
Okay,
we use the language.
Simple question.
The
for
way
you.
we use languages.
Okay, simple question. Why is it for 450 years all the tafsirs?
I don't know about that. I need to
Research
get,
it.
yeah, I need to
Please.
study it. Then I can.
Okay.
You're gonna coach me something I don't know about, and I say whatever
No,
comes.
that's
No,
fine.
I
That's
don't.
fine.
I
No,
can't,
no.
I can't.
I'm not trying to like twist your words or anything. I'm saying
No,
go
it's
and do
not.
the research.
It's not about twisting.
Because
It's about understanding
Okay.
something from a different point of view.
Do you have Tabari's tafsir on your phone?
No, I don't.
Read Tabari. Right? Ibn Taymiyyah said he only quotes sound sources. He never argued. So how is it he has a better understanding than someone who understood classical?
No, when did I say?
Well, that's why I'm saying let me finish my point then.
How did I say I
Because you
understand
said-
better
you
than
said- because
better
you're
than
saying-
Tabari? I
you're
never
say-
said that.
But then you're saying the sunset, everybody understands. So why is it their best scholars took it literally? If they understand the Arabic, he even says Ibn Abbas took it literally. So the person, because the best generations were the Sahaba, and your Prophet prayed to Ibn Abbas for him to have the best interpretation. So their interpretation doesn't change based on the reading of the Quran, but based on what we know of science. That's problematic. Because it should be the reading of the Quran that gives you the understanding of how to understand it. Not that, okay, science says this, now we're reinterpreting the Quran.
But does it go against it? Against science?
The sun setting in the pool. Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
The sun, if they
In a real life situation,
Yes.
it doesn't change anything. Every day I see the sun set.
listen to what I'm saying.
You're not even trying to understand my point
I
of view.
understand.
But yeah, if there is a sea in front of us,
I understand.
it does
Your point is very clear.
literally it sits in a pool.
Your point is very clear. But this is why
If I come from a different country and
you're-
reach that point, I reach to a
You're not
point
understanding
that
the
the sun
argument.
is sitting
That's
in
fine.
the pool.
It's always there. That's the question.
Now,
Is it always the pool?
wait.
If you're not
Now,
going to take my understanding, it even doesn't go against logic.
There's 2 points that refute him. Why? He agreed that the Jews and the Christians asked Muhammad about the Quran. Now, at the time, they thought it was literal too. So now, if he had said, Muhammad had said it wasn't literal, they would have argued, actually, no, it wasn't literal, and they would have said he was a false prophet. So that point goes against him because they brought the questions. And we can look in the traditions and know that because people thought the world was flat, they thought this story was true and that he actually found the setting of the sun. Now, if the Quran says it was what he perceived, that didn't answer their question. It goes against what they believe.
So that's
So
why
what-
Islam is false.
well, if the sun sets in the water, yes, it is false. Self-explanatory. And that's what I'm saying. Read Tabari's tafsir. Because my thing is that if it's so easy to understand, why did you have 2 great scholars, Ibn Kathir and Tabari? They're your two best scholars.
I will look at it.
Why would your best scholar assert that it was literal? But the thing is, what you're suffering is from is your
say whatever you want.
Your presupposition is the Quran is true. Therefore, we have to interpret in this way. That's fine. My presupposition is, let me go to the earliest sources, read what they say, and make my conclusion based on what they say. That's the difference.
That's
Now,
fine.
because when we learn about history,
If you understood in that way, and that makes you to a conclusion of that.
well,
that if-
my point will go back to why
That's
did
why, because that makes Islam false.
well,
then it's up to you.
My point would go back to why did your best scholars believe it
understanding.
was literal? It goes back to that question.
No,
For
I am
450
not in the
years.
position to answer these questions.
I'm not saying you
of
should
yours,
answer. I'm not.
are much more
No, you said
deeper.
you said you're going to research. That's fine, but I'm asking a rhetorical question. Why would the scholars for 450 years? Why would the ijma for 450 years be it was literal
No, but
until they were refuted by the Greeks?
But if I could have, but then
Because
if I was knowledgeable about this verse and this situation,
No, I'm saying you
I
could-
could have given you a good answer. But at the moment,
I've given
I
you a
do not think-
rhetorical
yeah.
question you can look into. I'm not saying give me an answer now. That's not what I've said.
I don't give any answer from my own.
I'm not asking. I'm saying. Even though it sounds like I'm asking you to give me an answer, I'm giving you a rhetorical question. Like you can.
Paul repented of his sins, and this shows the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ. If you cry to our Lord for salvation, no, God did not strike you with lightning. That's your interpretation.
He was blind for 3 days.
He got a revelation from Christ.
I was a murderer.
Because Jesus saves the sinners. This is what our God does.
Why God doesn't save him when he go to Europe?
Jesus
When he
saved
went to
him.
Europe.
Paul later on went to write so many testimonies of Christ. Paul declared his faith. Paul knew the Bible. Paul preached and brought sinners to Christ. Because God can use anyone. Moses was a murderer. God used him to take the children of Israel. God does marvelous things with the prophets. God can save everyone. Our Lord Jesus Christ. I am calm, sir. You can't. No, you're asking the wrong question.
I lie to please God. Yes or no? In the Romans chapter 3
Paul
verse 7.
did not say I
The
lied
Romans
to please
chapter 3
God.
verse 7.
And you see
Romans chapter 3 verse 7.
what this
Stay there.
hold on, I'm going to answer
Romans chapter
this.
3
You see
verse 7.
where this guy
For
goes
say I am a
wrong
liar. Read it for
is that he
yourself.
uses the Bible in variants.
Say I lie to please God.
And variants.
Roman, no, and the Romans chapter 3 verse 7. They say I lie to please God. That's what Paul says.
Well, we obviously know. Romans
Did you
chapter 3
find the
verse
Roman?
7. I'm going to read the verse before it and the verse
the
after,
Roman chapter 3
so that we
verse
get the
7.
context. And to show that when you don't have the Spirit of God and you use the Bible to make a claim, you're going to
In the
fall
Romans
short.
chapter 3 verse 7, Paul say I lie to please God. He say I am a liar. You don't want to admit.
So I'll read Romans chapter 3 from verse 5. But if our unrighteousness commend the righteousness of God, what shall we say? Is God unrighteous, who taketh vengeance? Question. I speak as a man. God forbid it. For then how shall God judge the world? For the truth of God has more abounded through my lie unto his glory.
So he lied to please
Why
God.
yet am I also judged as a sinner?
you.
Question.
Thank you.
So it's a question.
Yes,
So
thank you.
unfortunately, his literacy is as bad as Muhammad in the 6th century. That he doesn't want to read the
If by
Bible.
my lie-
So we
Read this
see why these Muslims need to listen rather than just
if by
complain
my
or
lie,
contest the
God choose-
biblical narrative.
Listen.
It's a question.
You see, if
It's a
by my
rhetorical
lie,
question.
if by my lie,
Saying he's a liar.
you see, he's a liar.
Sir, look at the
It's
question
clear.
mark.
You see, if by my lie, why am I condemned as a sinner?
And we go to verse 8 just to conclude the ignorance in this earth.
You see,
And not rather, as we have slanderously reported,
if
and
you
as
interpret it,
some
you say, I
affirm
lie
that
to
we
please
say,
God.
let us do evil that good may come. Question.
Explain this.
Whose damnation is just? So what we see is Apostle Paul saying that we should not be dishonest in our dealings, but speaking the truth of our Lord Jesus Christ. Because it's only by the truth of our Lord Jesus Christ that salvation will come about. But what this young man, this elderly man, this has gotten wrong is that he is misinterpreting the Bible because he's not understanding the questions that Paul is making. It's a rhetorical question. So we hope that the audience will not be as ignorant to quote the Bible in dictionary definition, but look at the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ as being the prize. God bless you all.
God truthful.